Hi, this is Tina Hamilton, and today I have the most interesting guest with me, Wendy Romag. Wendy has quite a story. She has multiple businesses. I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about those businesses, so I don't mess it up because she's got two completely different businesses, and we're going to talk a little bit about her story and also about resilience because she really has a great story about resilience. So hang on. Wendy, yes, please welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here today, Tina. This
You're
is
welcome.
really great. So I do have two businesses. One business is Sage Integrative Health, and Sage Integrative Health Center has been around since 2011. It was always my baby, and Sage is one of those businesses where it was just that passion that was pulsing through me at a very early age. And the Sage Integrative Health is a functional medicine clinic, and so I have several functional medicine practitioners, all doctorate nutrition,
Wow.
and so that's one business. And during the pandemic, things with that business went away. It was all in person, but I'll tell that story later. But the other business is that I have a management company, which is was family owned. I took it over from my family in 2022. It's Braceland Group, and we're a management company for GPOs, group purchasing organizations.
So, Wendy, you have two completely different businesses, completely different worlds. And I love, and you shared with me just a few moments ago before we started, a little bit about that journey, how you were. Just give us a little brief, just real brief. You started in corporate, you said, with SAP, if I remember correctly.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, and that was in.
Yeah, so I came out of my grad school with an MBA. I went into advertising, worked for an ad agency here in Philadelphia, and then got recruited over to SAP in their marketing department and worked there for a couple of
It's a big
years.
deal, right?
Yeah,
Big company.
it was great. And when I was there, I was just I wasn't feeling the corporate vibe. I wanted to do my own thing, so I call myself a serial entrepreneur. I went
Love
off and
that.
decided to start my own little boutique agency and did that little boutique agency for a
A
little
marketing
bit. Marketing
agency.
agency.
Okay, so many businesses.
Many
Okay.
businesses, yep, did that
Love
for a
that.
little bit, and I was new, getting my feet wet with the whole entrepreneur thing. So
Yeah, yeah.
that didn't quite work out. Went back to school, got some education in herbal medicine. My heart at that time was and has still been always in natural medicine. I
Okay.
really was very focused in it as a young adult on healing my body naturally, herbal medicine, nutrition. Even as a kid, I used to write nutrition plans for my cousin because she said she wanted to eat better. So I was like 12 years old writing nutrition plans for my cousin. So it
Wow.
started early
It
with the
was in your
nutrition.
soul. It was part of you.
It was part
Yeah.
of me as a young adult. So I went back, got my education. I can say 4 years. I studied herbal medicine under an herbalist named David Winston, who's amazing. And then I put up a shingle and I said, okay, I'm an herbalist, and that was in 2011. And I realized as I started seeing clients there, I was like, I don't think I have enough education. So then I was like, I need some nutrition education. So I went back and got a master's degree in nutrition, master's in science and nutrition. And then the school that I went to, I'm also kind of one of those serial education people too. The school that I went to had a doctoral program in education, in nutrition that they launched, and I was like, I have to do this. This is amazing. So I went back and continued my education and got a doctorate in nutrition.
That's incredible. What drove you to make that decision? Because that's a big decision. Now you have this business.
Yep.
And that can't be easy.
No.
Going to school and running a business.
No, apparently I like to do things the hard way.
Yeah.
I think that's been my MO. My family is like, wait, you just started this business, you're going back to school. I'm like, well, I need more. I need to know more. And it was just always my drive to learn, learn, learn. And of course, that did slow down the growth of the practice. I was a solo practitioner, but during that time, I was, putting myself through school by working for my family business. And so I worked for my stepdad. He had a management company. He was a third generation commercial printer here in Philadelphia. So the big, large printers that you see that are putting out like, hundreds of thousands of books and things like that. I mean,
Right.
that's what he grew up doing. And when he sold that company, he started a group purchasing organization for printers. And so then I helped him bring members on board, and that was my job to do sales and marketing for him while I was in my nutrition college, 5 years of education there, back-to-back master's degree and
Right.
doctorate. So I was in school for 5 years, still doing my clinic on the side. And yeah, so it's been quite the journey, but that's what brought me further in education, is because I really just felt like I just don't know enough. I don't know enough. I need more, more, more,
Sure.
more.
And I
So
would imagine in that kind of business, you almost do, right? You need to constantly be updated and
constant.
right? Because there's always new findings and new right studies, etc. I
Absolutely.
love though that you didn't let other things get in your way of your desire, and you knew you needed to know more. I mean, that's what I'm assuming from what you're saying.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And not all, there's so many people practicing herbalism and functional medicine and different things. They don't all go and get their PhD. So that's pretty unusual. You're really a go-getter. And from what you told me, so now you're working for your family business. You have this, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
When do you switch? Like, when do you stop working for the family business? It's something,
Yeah.
yeah.
So after I finished my doctorate, and I actually was in school, I finished my doctorate in 2019.
Okay.
So you can start to see some timing here coming up to a major world event.
Yeah.
So I was so excited. I had my doctorate, and I was still seeing patients the entire time from 2011 to 2019. I could never ramp it up fully. So
Right.
I was in school. So I was excited. I was like, I can finally ramp up my clinic. This is so exciting. And I graduated, and 8 months later, the pandemic hit. And the floor fell out. And I had my office space. I had rented office space here in Philadelphia.
Because people would come in person. There
Correct.
was no online
Correct.
stuff because it's a medical.
It's
right.
right. It's
and
a
back
health
then
field.
you weren't doing telehealth like you are now.
Exactly.
Right.
So from 2011 through actually up until 2024, I have had an office for my practice.
Okay.
And people were always coming in, but up until the pandemic, that was the only way. I had wanted to go the telehealth virtual route, or at least start expanding my practice across the country. I couldn't figure out how to crack that code. Well, the pandemic helped. In
Right.
some ways,
Yeah.
but the initial fallout from the pandemic was that all of a sudden the patients that were coming into my clinic disappeared. So I got my doctorate, I built my business, I was actually getting good patient flow coming in, and then the pandemic hit. And suddenly I had nothing. The floor basically dropped out. I just had my doctorate, had some student loans, I had my practice that was growing, and all of a sudden there was nothing.
Wow.
Absolutely nothing. And I was just, okay. I mean, I just had to hunker down because the
Right.
whole world was in the same space. So I
Right.
was like, okay, I just have to push through this. So I went back working for the family business. And at
Were you
that
still seeing some patients, or no? That now at that point,
at
you were
that
just
point,
done?
I didn't have any in person, and
People had other priorities
I
during
had
that
a hard
right?
time getting people convinced to come to Zoom because everyone thought, well, it'll maybe in a month, maybe in a month, maybe in a month.
Right.
And it was kind of kicking it down the street with people coming in person. And so finally people started, like 4 or 5 months later, started getting the vibe of, okay, maybe this is going to last a little longer than we expected. I think we need to start a virtual thing here.
Okay.
So, and I was really promoting the virtual thing. So slowly people started trickling back into my calendar.
Wow.
But it wasn't fast enough. And
Sure.
it so happened that this woman in Australia who was looking for people to help with her she was looking for professionals, doctors that could do her docu-series. So she has these master classes. They found me somehow during the pandemic, and they said, will you be one of our professionals? We have 20 professionals during this 8-week docu-series. Would you want to be part of it? And I said, yeah.
Yeah.
I did
totally,
it.
Right.
And then by February, my clinic took off again in 2021. But the interesting thing is before that, my stepdad said, hey, I'm retiring. I want you to take over the business, the family business of the management company. And I was like, I've got this clinic thing. He's like, yeah, but you're not making a living off it right now. Your patients aren't coming back fast enough. And I was like, yeah, you're probably right. I think I need to.
So was it a money decision?
It was a money decision. It was definitely a financial
And probably
decision.
there's some level of security. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but I imagine there was some level of security with
yeah,
that.
absolutely. And not to mention the fact that I wanted to make my dad happy. He's my dad, and
that's very sweet.
I wanted to make him happy. I wanted him to feel like this was a legacy that he built. He did not want it to go outside the family. He had asked me at 3 different points in my career before that if I would take over when he retired, and I said no. And this time he just was so sincere about retiring, and I really wanted to make him happy and see that legacy move on. So I said, I'm going to do it. And then my clinic got really busy. And then I hired some folks into my clinic. And so,
Okay.
so there you go. So that was the kind of the transition of how I ended up with two businesses was a pandemic, a and a retiring dad.
So you're still. I mean, I think what I admire most about you, and I just met you today, is your resilience of sticking with what you really loved. Because it would have been super easy to hang up the shingle, and you could have just done a little here and there, and probably would have fed you that need, excuse me, to do what it is that you do. Because it sounds like it's a passion for you more
Yeah.
than anything, or
Yeah.
you wouldn't have continued all that schooling and.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. People asked me many times, including my family, what are you going to do with Sage? And I said, keep it. And they're like, what are you,
Yeah.
crazy? Like, I'll figure it out. I know I'll figure it out. And that's been my MO. I mean, I hired people. I
Right.
hired some really great practitioners. I just hired people into my clinic, and as it's growing, the team's amazing. I just love my team at Sage. They're incredible.
How
Yeah.
do you manage the demands of both? Because I imagine there's
Yeah.
times where they both really need you.
There is, absolutely. So I've stepped largely out of patient care. I still do see some patients. I am clinical director now, so I'm overseeing patient care. And so I meet with my team once a week to do case review with them and make sure that,
Okay.
and I actually have someone doing billing now. I have my receptionist that's answering the phones. So, and because we're all virtual, it makes it a little easier.
Everything is virtual.
So
Oh,
we
yeah,
decided,
that's
I kept
great.
my
Sure.
office through end of 2023. And people just weren't coming back into the office.
Yeah.
And I was like, why am I paying for this
Right.
office? So we actually went fully virtual a little over a year ago, and it's been completely great.
And it's accepted now, isn't it? I
Very
mean, you
much
can
so.
see dermatologists,
Very
medical
much
docs,
so.
like psychologists, just
Yeah.
everything.
Absolutely. And so I've a practitioner in Colorado. I have a practitioner in New Jersey, here in Philadelphia. I'm out in Chester County.
Wow.
And so, so we see all different kinds of folks in our clinic virtually. And it's been great. It's
So
worked.
What drives you? What is that in you that you can have two businesses, all that education? So I'm going to backtrack, everybody. MBA, master's, PhD, probably some more stuff in there, some certifications at least or something. So all that plus two companies, actual companies with employees at both. What is it that drives you that, a lot of people would just, and you're hands-on with them. None of them are so big that you can't be part of it, right?
Right,
You have
yeah.
to be part of it. So knowing that, what is it that makes you keep going and want to keep going? Because maybe you don't need to have both, right? And I know you have this commitment to your stepfather,
absolutely.
which is massively admirable and says a lot about you and your character. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that ultimately part of what enables me to juggle it is I chose a path where I didn't have children.
Okay, yeah.
So that
okay.
was a very different life choice that
Yeah.
I made. So it's just my husband and I and my dog and my two cats. And so it's a different path, very much so. And that gives me, I guess you could say, more of that ability, the time and the energy to really dedicate to the businesses. And because I see Sage so much as that extension of me,
Yeah.
that nurturing part of me
Yeah.
is poured into Sage, into the clinic, into helping my team, helping to help them grow and help their patients better. That's really fulfilling to me. And on the management company side, it's actually a really fun business.
Really?
I actually, when I took it over, I thought this was going to be easy. It was no problem. But then I had my own set of challenges there.
Sure, yeah.
And so...
And tell us briefly again what that business, a little detail in
Yeah, we manage group purchasing organizations. So the largest group purchasing organization that we manage is for the commercial printing industry. That GPO is called Graphic Arts Alliance. And so as an organization, as a group purchasing organization, we have $6 billion worth of buying power in the industry. So it's substantial.
Yes.
And I actually, working in advertising and marketing early on in my career, worked with printers all the time, these commercial printers. So I kind of knew that side of things.
Oh, isn't that funny how it all connected?
It kind of all came around.
Yeah.
And it's very creative. It's fun. And it's very technologically based, too. So I just love the innovation. I love creativity, and I love working with people. So this side of the business actually started to really grow on me. I started to really love it. I loved working with the printers. I loved going to the shows and seeing all the innovation and the technology, and working with the members to really help them with their businesses and help them thrive. And so I think one of my mottos is to help people thrive and succeed in their life, and that includes their businesses. So that's part of what drives me with the clinic and with this, is that I'm helping businesses and business owners. These printers that are able to get better pricing, or
Right.
I can help them, providing webinars, educational webinars, and bringing as much value as I can to our members. So that's been really, like I said, it's a fun industry. It's really fun to manage these organizations because I'm working with the printers and working with the manufacturers directly, and with the vendors too. So it's relationship based.
What's your future? Do you have future plans for either business? Keep them going? Something more? A third business, perhaps?
Wow, who knows? Third business. I'm, on the management company side, I'm definitely, you mentioned resilience, and the management company, of course, when I took it over, there was still some fallout. I thought everything was going to be safe and easy. And after I took that company over, 6 weeks on in ownership of the new company, our largest vendor went away.
That's right.
They walked because there was a major fallout in the supply chain in 2022. I didn't realize that in the whole year of 2021. I thought we were starting to come out into recovery. By the time I signed the papers and came in, our biggest contract walked out 6 weeks later.
So hang on. You already went through 2020 where you almost lost your business. In essence, in a way, you didn't completely lose it, but people just weren't coming in.
Correct.
They were used to coming. So now you have that. You're recovering from that. And then 2021, just 1 year later.
Yeah.
Right? Am I saying
So
it right?
2021, I took over the business at the end of that year. By early 2022,
Oh, okay.
it was
That's when
just another
big-
bottom hit, and there was another
and
ripple
like
effect.
that, right? You said there was
Yep.
no notice. All of a sudden, you lost your vendor.
Yep.
No way to supply just paper, which is what you purchase.
Right.
So how did you get past that?
Yeah, it was a huge hurdle. I think that for me, it was a big revenue driver for the management company, because the rebates that are going through these, we do a lot of rebate programs and incentive programs to the members. And so that revenue driver was suddenly, part of that was gone. So I had to really hustle. And it was a day, I give myself, this is my rule of thumb. Anytime something happens that is bad, that is traumatic, that catches me off guard, and I'm having one of those like moments, I give myself 24 hours. And I'll be mad, I'll cry, I'll go for a walk, and whatever feeling I'm feeling, I feel it for 24 hours, and then I'm done. And then I get a game plan. And so that's what I did. I had 24 hours after that vendor left. I gave myself 24 hours, and I was like mad and frustrated and scared and all of those things. And then I woke up the next day, and I started on a plan. And that was it. I just had to start on a plan. And I created my whole strategic plan for growth for the organization. I've been working against that plan for the last 3 years, ever since that happened.
And how's that going?
Great. Yep. Definitely rebuilding. I'm really happy. I'm bringing new vendors on, and partnerships that, because of the pandemic, went away are coming back now. It's been great. I've been really just very focused on that strategic plan and working toward all of the objectives on there. And I'm seeing the effects of it finally. It's just, I just had to hunker down, like I said, and
You're
just be
someone
really
that's
focused.
You don't give up. I just have to figure out a solution kind of a person.
There's always a solution, and
Right.
I can't get spun out. Things happen, right?
True.
I mean, I've been
It's a
knocked
good way to
around
say it.
so much.
Yeah.
And I give myself 24 hours, and then I'm like, you can't sit here, Wendy. You cannot be in this space for that long. You have to pull yourself out and make a plan and fix it.
It's a great message, because I think in entrepreneurship, everyone experiences something.
Yep.
They don't commonly experience two sudden major catastrophes, but maybe. But everybody has something, and it can be as simple as losing an important employee, or losing a vendor, a client, whatever it is, whatever lesson you realize you priced wrong, or whatever it is. It's that ability to not wallow in it, or feel sorry for yourself or whatever. Like, I think a real entrepreneur just, that doesn't, like you said, 24 hours a day or so, and then you just got to move on from that, because then you're just, what are you? You know,
Yeah.
you're just nothing. You're not going to help anybody,
No,
right?
you can't let it identify you. I mean,
That's a good way to put
and
it.
that's the key. I have to move on. I can't wallow. I can't identify with that, sudden fallout. I know that there's always a solution.
Right.
And that's been my motto. There's always a solution. I
Right.
just haven't figured it out yet. And so that's a really big component to what keeps moving me forward is
That is such a good, and that, I mean, through life, right? Like, that's a great mantra for life. There's always a solution. It might not be the solution you want or like or prefer, but it's a solution, right? And to keep moving forward in one way or the other.
absolutely,
Yeah, I love that.
absolutely.
Wendy, I think your story will inspire a lot of people. I wish we had more time. I'd love to hear more. I bet there's more. But I really appreciate it. Congratulations on all your success. I'm just so in awe of everything you've done and created. Um,
Thank
3
you.
degrees, 2 businesses, a dog and 2 cats, I think you
And a
said, and a husband. So it's a lot. But, you're doing it. And so, and everybody, as beautiful as it looks, everybody has their downfalls. And it's just a matter of,
100%.
right? There's nobody that hasn't had them. And it's just how you pick yourself up that shows who you are.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of people will be very interested in this story. So thank you so much, Wendy.
Thank you, Tina, for the opportunity. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.